Do not address Mr. Howard.
Excuse
Do
me?
not address Mr. Howard. State of Michigan versus Perry Howard, 211444. Mr. Westmoreland's present, Mr. Kazak's present, Ms. Pinkston's present, Mr. Howard's present. Ms. Pinkston, can you sit somewhere other than your bed, please?
Pardon me?
Can you please sit somewhere else other than your bed?
Can I sit where?
Somewhere other than your bed. All right, thank you. Okay, and so where we left off last time in April was that Ms. Pinkston was indicating that the entire amount that was requested for the repairs, that entire amount was of damage was caused by Mr. Howard. Is that
Yes.
where we left off?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Pinkston, thank you for coming here today. I'm back on the 30th of October of 2020. You indicated that Mr. Perry had come over to your apartment and had caused some damage to your vehicle. Is that correct?
No, I came over to his to get my belongings and my keys to my home. In the midst of that, he was enraged. It looked like he's been drinking. He pounded on my glass door of my window on the passenger side. He jarred the doorknob several times, multiple times, before he kicked the door.
All right. And when he kicked the door, did that leave some damage on the door of the vehicle?
Yes, it did. It left his footprint, his boot print that he had on, that he was wearing at the time. I took pictures of it, submitted to the officer, the sergeant that was on duty at the time. And in the midst of that Monday morning, I took my vehicle to Feldman Chevrolet to get an estimate of what the damages will be, and that's what they gave me. I submitted them to the court. After that, court proceedings were still in limbo because of COVID and everything as far as that. And then once the prosecuting attorney reached out to me and told me I had to get it fixed in order to to get restitution.
And so now you indicated that he kicked your door. Is that your driver's side door?
No, the passenger side. Everything was done on the passenger side.
Did he kick or strike any other portion of your vehicle at all?
The window on the same side, and he jarred the door handle several times. He pounded on the glass several times before he kicked the door. He intentionally did it deliberately.
And was the only damage done by Mr. Howard with regard to your vehicle the front passenger door?
Yeah, everything that he previously done before that, before he kicked it, yes. And I had no damages to my vehicle before he did what he did.
I object.
Now,
Mr. Howard, you have an attorney that can object for you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Now, you indicated that you went to the Feldman Chevrolet in Livonia and got an estimate for the repairs. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, there were some in the estimate that you provided to the court. There were some repairs that were indicated in the report that included the rear door and the fender.
Well, like I said, I'm not an auto body mechanic. All I know is what the damage is.
Ms. Pinkston, please let Mr. Kazak finish the question before you start answering, because my court recorder can't take two things out at the same time. Okay, so please let him finish the question before you start answering.
And so do you know what those the fender and the rear door repairs were specifically for with regard to damage were specifically for or not?
From my estimate and from my knowledge, they had to take the whole door panel off and replace all of that from the damage that he did.
And you've indicated that you had no other damage to your vehicle prior to Mr. Howard kicking in your door. Is that right?
That is absolutely 100% correct.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions at this time.
And Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes, just for clarification, what door did Mr. Howard kick?
It was the front passenger door.
And how many times did he kick the door?
He only kicked the door once.
Do you recall what type of shoe he was wearing that day?
He had an ankle boot on. Brown leather ankle boot.
Is it like a work boot or a dress
No.
shoe? Like
No, it's a dress boot.
So you're saying that he just kicked the front passenger door one time? He never kicked the fender or the rear door?
He dented it pretty bad. So before that, he ajarred the window and the door handle.
Correct, but he just kicked the front passenger door. That was the only place he kicked?
Yes, with a strong, heavy kick.
No other questions, Judge.
Any other witnesses that you plan on calling, Mr. Kazak?
No, Your Honor, we have no further witness.
Any witnesses you'd like to call, Mr. Westmoreland?
I don't believe so at this time.
I have a question, Ms. Kingston, about how long did this interaction last?
For about 20 minutes before he chased me down Biddle. So prior for that, I should have been charging assault charges as far as fearing for my life, but I didn't. All I want him to do is pay for the damage he's done to my car.
Yeah, Ms. Kingston, please answer the question I've asked.
About 20 minutes.
All right, and where did, when you took the photos that were of the damage, where were you?
Where was I? After
Yeah.
I wind up losing him, I regained myself, went over one of my girlfriend's house to collect my thoughts.
Ms. Kingston,
Over a
Kingston,
friend's house.
please answer, Ms. Kingston, please
Over a
answer my
friend.
question.
Over a
Please
friend's house.
answer, excuse me, please answer the question I've asked specifically without extra information. So you went to a friend's house to take these photographs?
Yes.
Did anybody else take any photographs? Any detectives or officers?
Yes.
And there wasn't any damage done to your vehicle prior to Mr. Howard kicking it?
Correct.
And how much time after you took your photographs did the detective take photographs or an officer take photographs?
Probably no more than a half an hour later, 45 minutes later.
Well, what we had adjourned this matter for was so somebody from the dealership would come in and testify because, number one, as it relates to the invoice, there's stuff on here regarding a fender and whatnot, but there hasn't been any testimony regarding any damage to the fender. And so I don't know why that would have been why that would have been repaired. And second, and the photograph that Ms. Pinkston took, which looks like it's shown, there's a picture of her, like a screenshot of some sort, because it shows it like from her phone. There is a boot print, but then the photograph taken from the officer that was emailed to Ms. Shaw of our probation department does not show a boot print. And I really would like to know from the repair individual how a kick would cause the door to not close all the way when the kick was in the middle of the door.
Well, can I answer that? He ajarred my door handle before he kicked the door.
I
He
see
yanked
that
on
with the
my-
door handle. I see the door handle, but I'm wondering with the door itself, are you indicating the door handle will not, because the door handle is stuck out, it will not permit the door to close all the way?
I'm not an auto body mechanic. I have no idea. All I
Right,
know is
that's
what I saw, what he did.
Right, that's why I really needed the auto body person to come in. I mean, Mr. Perry or Mr. Howard definitely damaged the door. but there's going to have to be a recalculation done because
Wow.
the right fender liner, the right wheel opening molding, from what I understand, the fender is the part between the door and the front bumper, is my understanding of the fender. And there isn't any testimony regarding that. There isn't even any evidence regarding that. So when you take out 0.4 for labor for the fender, right fender liner, right wheel opening molding, and a 1.0 for the paint, I don't know what the right blackout tape rear is for, what that's for, because there was no damage. There's no testimony regarding anything rear. Did they have to replace the entire door, ma'am?
Yes, correct. Yes, they did. They replaced the whole
Okay,
door,
so
the
that would
whole
make
entire
sense.
panel.
So it would make sense for the mirror assembly. Okay, that would make sense. The handle. But I'm confused. Well, I guess they have to replace the handle because the door doesn't come with a handle apparently.
From my understanding, they had to paint the door. They had to spray the other side for it to match up with that.
Ma'am, how did they even get to the $2,400 or the $2,200 amount? $2,488.59. Where did that amount even come from? But these subtotals total
Your Honor,
$1,012.75.
That's just for the parts, Your Honor, I believe. The rest of the cost was for the labor.
Okay, so the parts were $936.75, and then the labor. Okay, so did you figure out how much labor was? So if you take these labor amounts and you multiply those by $50 an hour, plus the $936.75, totals $1,241.75. Because I don't have any evidence before this court regarding the rear door. There hasn't been any testimony regarding the rear door. You don't have anything from the
Or the fender,
from the what?
or the fender as well.
Correct. Or the fender. And we don't have anything from the body shop people. They're not here to testify. And so the court's going to indicate restitution amount of $1,241.75.
Well, I want to file a motion because this is not fair. This is not fair at all. He kicked my door out of rage.
Ms. Pinkston, your testimony, as well as your statement that's in the police report, as well as the estimate that's put forth, shows the amount that was caused, the amount that was charged for the right passenger door. There wasn't any testimony about anything with the fender nor the rear door. This court cannot order restitution on the fender or the rear door without having any evidence that that was caused by Mr. Howard. Mr. Kazak subpoenaed the body shop person. They did not appear. I cannot assume what that person is going to say. I need to have it on the record for evidence. And that's what I need to base my ruling on.
Well, I want another court date because this is not fair. I have to come out of my pocket for some here 10 doing maliciously, letting on. I mean, this is preposterous. Just keep going through all this for nothing.
Yeah,
He did it
Ms.
intentionally.
Ms. Pinkston, at this time, this is the court's ruling. If you have some other evidence that would suggest that the additional money is from Mr. Howard's actions, then you can certainly present it to the prosecutor.
And I will.
But at this point, what the court has, and I adjourned this from April, I believe, so that the person can be present and that person is not present. So therefore, the court's order is restitution in the amount of $1,241.75. Thank you very much. And we're going to be off the record.
You're gonna get yours.
Don't make threats. You're in court.
I ain't making threats. You are. Karma is something. Karma is something else.
Listen, that's not going to happen. You can remove yourself from the meeting. Do not make threats. Do not anything. That's not
Yeah, well,
acceptable at all.
Tell him don't make threats and quit calling my damn phone.
Ma'am, you're in court. You need to have appropriate language.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Can I say
Yes, Mr.
something?
Howard.
I have
We're not on the
voice
record.
message that you left. I have voice message that you left. So don't play with me.
Hold on,
Don't
stop,
play with
stop.
me.
Do not address Mr. Howard. Do
Excuse
not
me?
address Mr. Howard. Yes, Mr. Howard, your attorney is still present. What would you like the court to know? We can go back on the record. Yes, Mr. Howard.
Yes, I would like to put a PPO out on her.
Well, this is not the jurisdiction for that. You have to do that with Third Circuit Court.
I will be down to the court.
And I need to put one out on you. How about that?
Listen, ma'am, I said not to address Mr. Howard.
Now, this is ridiculous. I amended the part that I played, but she never did.
You were
She
playing a
never-
little part. You maliciously kicked my dog.
Miss Pinkston,
Why
That's
the front
enough.
end?
no,
Why
Mr.
the
Howard, that's it. Mr. Howard. I understand you pled guilty. I've assessed your restitution. If you feel the need to get a PPO, then you need to take that to the Third Circuit Court. The
Yes, I
District
will.
Court does not have jurisdiction over that.
I will. Am I done here?
All right. You're all set. Yes, thank you. Off the
Thank you.
record.
Have a good day.
It's unfair. Karma is something. Karma is something. Karma is something. How about
Oh, I knew that was gonna get interesting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's